Kia ora, puetak. My name is Wildkard. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and privilege to entertain you as we talk about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. And the Rugby World Cup Grand Final is upon us this weekend. It will be the old rivals. It will be the greatest rivalry on display. It will be the mighty All Blacks against the reigning, the defending, the undisputed Bayaleka Amaboku Boku, the mighty Springboks for the Webb Ellis Cup. Oh boy, it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be tremendous, and it's gonna be one of the best Rugby World Cup finals ever, right? And yes, before we begin, I would like to just say that Rassi Erasmus is an absolute genius at work, okay? I would like to take this opportunity to quote you something. Now, the Springboks has once again opted for the infamous 7-1 bench split with 7 forwards and 1 back. And I just want to quote the famous book, The Art of War, written by Sun Tzu more than 2,200 years ago, right? And he wrote in this book, so in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike what is weak. Yes, I know his English is his second language. It's doesn't quite ring that well, but that is the true genius that Rassi Erasmus is put on for this weekend. He knows exactly what the weakness is for the All Blacks, and he knows exactly what his strength is from the Springboks, and he's going to squeeze every bit out of it to end the game for the championship. And just want to show you something as well, something really interesting. So obviously we're talking about the bench, 7-1. Nipo Laulala has been added to the tight head position of the bench. And in fact, I actually thought he might bring on Nipo Laulala ahead of Fletcher Newell just to try to neutralize the scrummaging over Oaks Uncha, because that is a key battling area. But then I thought again, I think Fletcher Newell is quite good, or good enough to handle, Oh, he's so wrong! So wrong! See? So wrong! Ian Foster definitely thought Fletcher Newell wasn't good enough, okay? And he has opted for Nipo Laulala to start. Yes, this is something that I think really the wrong decision. Now, Laula's scrummaging is not better than Fletcher Newell, and his ball handling is quite questionable. Yes, he has a lot more experience, but I just, this is gonna be tough for the All Blacks, to be honest. Let's have a look at some of the information. So yes, as a result, Fozzie has opted for more experience over the so-called youngsters that on the bench, and as a result, the All Blacks has put on the most experienced team ever to play in the World Cup final. And yeah, it is very interesting. Like, you have the most experienced team ever in the World Cup final, right? You know that Finlay Christie and Damien McKenzie are not going to be on the field, most likely, right? They did not play against Ireland. So you have the most experienced. Do you really have the most experienced team when you have, 76 caps that you're not going to be using? There's something you got to think about as well, right? Going into this match, and knowing that, this is a genius of Rassi Erasmus. Knowing that these two players are not even going to be used, most likely by Ian Foster. He's made sure to increase that difference by putting even more power on the bench in the forwards. And this is true genius at work from the South African camp. And with the game, with such a monumental occasion, two very important factors that will come into play. Number one is the referee. Wayne Barnes is the best referee right now in the world. His performance between the All Blacks and Ireland was very, very clinical and very, very precise, very, very clear, very consistent, which is the most important part. And yes, Barnsley also is very unlikely to be issuing yellow cards. He is absorbing tackle, infamous absorbing tackle between New Zealand and Ireland in the July Test series last year. Took everybody by surprise. And at that time, any sort of head contact would have been a yellow, would have been a red card back then, especially when Brodie Retallick had a broken jaw from the head-on-head collision between him and Andrew Porter. Barnsley at the time, last year, had the balls to only issue a yellow card. So, I mean, and then the guidelines have changed a little bit as well with the bunker in play. Very unlikely to see a red. And Barnsley as well, even just issuing the yellow card will be very unlikely to see just out of him, which is good, which I do agree. I think in the biggest stage in the world, the team should be allowed to let loose and go at each other. This is what they do in rugby league. This is what made rugby league very, very popular here in Australia. They let the players loose in the big games like State of Origin. They basically throw half the rule book out of window and just let the players go at it for maximum entertainment value, and then just dial it back during the season to keep everybody safe. So I think this is something that this is something that they should do in Rugby World Cups, just to really spice up that entertainment value a little bit. And the second most important player on the field this weekend is the weather. It has been raining for a week, pretty much non-stop in Paris, by the looks of it. It was raining last week and it's been raining throughout. So it will be once again raining this weekend on Saturday night. And yes, it is quite fitting, I think, that the World Cup started in the sunshine, 30 degrees, 35 degrees in the sunshine, played in the afternoon. Everybody's having a nice hot day in the sun, getting a bit of a tan, to all the way as the tournament progressed. It only got darker and darker and colder, and the games started to play later and later, and there was less and less sunshine, and it's very fitting for the game in the grand final, the final game of the tournament, to be played in the rain, in the pitch darkness on Paris night, just to show how difficult the game has gone into, just to show just to show that, even the heavens knows that this is going to be one occasion where the players get stretched off the field from the brutality that we're going to be experiencing, and the heavens are already weeping for what will be happening this weekend, okay? And yes, the good news is, I think unlike last week, between the Springboks and the English team, I think the Springboks were a little bit underprepared, especially for the rain, because it was intermittently raining last week. So having basically 2 weeks now to prepare to play in the rain and to train in the rain, I think the Springboks will be much more suited to the condition as well. New Zealand, though, do have a massive advantage in the rain. Their performances in the rain has, in New Zealand has been, quite another level, especially last year against Argentina, where they blew them out of the water in the rain, and they didn't even look like it was bucking down rain in New Zealand, and they didn't even drop the ball in that entire match. If any, I don't think they dropped a single ball in the match, and they just ran rampant through Argentina, and in the bucketing down rain. Yeah, so this is going to be a big factor for the New Zealand, and I think despite the bench, New Zealand still has a huge opportunity because of the weather conditions that is massively favoring to them. So the heads up between the two teams, ever since Rassie Erasmus took over, the Springboks has been quite even between the two teams, I would say. Both the teams has won back and forward between the back and forward 1 week and then lose the next week sort of thing going on. So this year alone, the 2 test matches, the one in Auckland, New Zealand won against South Africa, where the Springboks sent an early, invasion crew down to New Zealand to get climatized and still wasn't able to do it. New Zealand was able to win that quite easily. And then the second one at London at Twickenham Stadium, the Springboks blew out the All Blacks. It was the first time ever introduction of the 7-1 bench split. They originally had Willie le Roux and Cobus Reinach on the bench, and then last minute Willie le Roux got injured, and the Wildkard Smith was added onto the bench, and then one-sided complete domination by the Springboks. The All Blacks conceded a lot of penalties in that one. We're gonna have a look at that in a minute, the details of this match, and so going into this match as well, the results for both teams speaks for itself. The South Africans had the most difficult pool ever
most difficult run to the Rugby World Cup final ever in the history of a Rugby World Cup. This was absolutely brutal. The pool of death, the toughest pool ever, with Tonga, Tonga, Ireland, Scotland, and then even Tonga has dramatically improved to not just to be a blow-away match in the pool stage. The only easy match was Romania, just basically a bit of a breathe for them. And they absolutely hands down the most difficult, and then went on to beat the hosts France in front of a absolutely deafening crowd to put that game away. And then last week got out of jail. Many of you might have said, beating a very, very masterful game planned England team in the rain. To squeeze a win out of that one was again extremely difficult. And this was the one thing that I think you have to keep in mind is that the Springboks. Oops, I don't know what happened there. Let's go back. The one thing you have to keep in mind with the Springboks is that the break that the Springboks have is a little bit better than the New Zealanders. So the Springboks had a break after playing Tonga in the pool. So they play 4 weeks in a row, and then they had a break just before the quarterfinal against France. So this game in the final is actually only the third game that the team has played like in a row without a break. And again, the week before the break was Tonga as well. They put on basically the B team, the mixture of A and B team, A minus team, let's just call it, so people don't get too upset. So players should be pretty fresh. I'm going into the quarterfinal for the Springboks, but then again, the wear and tear between the France England team will be a little bit of a issue for them. But overall, I think that the fatigue level shouldn't be too high as going into this match. Whereas for the New Zealanders, their run to the Rugby World Cup final is a lot easier. They had a pool where they basically can't get eliminated. There's no risk of getting eliminated. So even losing to the France in the opening match, they were quite comfortable for the rest of the game. The only game that everybody thought might give them a bit of a threat, I don't know why they would think that, was Italy. Completely blew them away. The New Zealanders had their break after the Italian game. Wait, is that Italian game? No, Namibia. No, sorry. My bad. Before the Italian game, after Namibia. So the New Zealanders has played 4 weeks in a row without stop going to the final. So this is the fifth week in a row for the New Zealanders without stopping. So that, not just physical fatigue, but mental fatigue as well, will be a big factor for the Kiwis, because I don't think the New Zealanders has played more than 3 matches in a row over the last 4 years. They have not played more than 3 weeks in a row without a break. So this will be a quite an interesting experience how the team's gonna handle it. The 5th game, we're gonna see how they go. Although the games that are played are not too difficult, the New Zealanders did have a bit of break, so to speak, in the Uruguay game, Italy game as well. Both of these were kind of played with the experimental players. Ireland was definitely a very difficult game for New Zealand to pull out of that one. Absolute spectacular performances. And again, last week against Argentina was a pretty one-sided affair. Scotty Barrett had an early shower as well. It wasn't too stressful for the team in terms of physical contest, but still, just being on the field, making tackles, surely it's not gonna be it's definitely gonna have wear and tear on you as well. So before we talk about line, I want to talk about this last match. This is the one that probably everybody is most excited about, most interested in looking at. Everybody will be studying in this. It's the match where South Africa beat New Zealand at Twickenham 35 points to 7 in a very one-sided. This was the best performance by the Springboks team over New Zealand ever. This was just absolutely clinical. They put a lot of early pressure on the All Blacks. Many penalties. The Scotty Barrett yellow cards and a subsequent red card is all because of repeated penalties. So it wasn't like Scotty Barrett, made a bit of dangerous tackle or anything. And that is just the way the game played out. High pressure, 4-pack, forcing penalties, high breakdown contest. And once again, if the Springboks wants to win this game in the rain, they're going to have to keep it tight and really going to have to battle it out up front and, really brutalize the All Blacks and try to force these penalties that found them a lot of success in this match in particular. All the way till the end, Cam Rugby scored this try that was completely individual performance, and he's not selected. Yeah, his complete individual performance. Just no one was doing anything. Rugby picked up the ball and then slipped through around the rack, and then ran down the field all the way by himself to score this try. And this was brutal, and a lot of New Zealanders, a lot of the All Blacks team wants to lick their chops and try to redeem this match. Now let's have a look at the lineup for the teams now. New Zealand, South Africa, this battle is going to be brutal. This is going to be a 4 battle. South Africa will want to make it this 4 battle as much as New Zealanders wants to play the expansive game, wants to play a flow style rugby. The rain is going to be making that a little bit difficult for them, but they do have better handling in the rain, so that is a big factor for the New Zealand to try to manage the game, manage the speed of the game, manage the game in the rain. So the big battle out front, the front rowers, absolutely huge battles ahead this weekend. Ethan de Groot comes in number 1, Cody Taylor number 2, Tyrell Lomax number 3. This will be the battle for probably the best front rowers in the world. The Tyrell Lomax and Ethan de Groot, ever since they added into the team after the serious loss to Ireland, they have been absolutely tremendous for the All Blacks. They are the big difference between the All Blacks losing prior to losing the forwards battle, losing the physical battle, losing the mongrel in the scrummaging at the breakdowns before the Ireland series. They really took that into another level with the help of Jason Ryan that has brought in the scrum coach, the forwards coach, brought in from the Crusaders. So they are absolutely critical for the All Blacks once again. The game that they lost to South Africa, you may even argue that Tyrell Lomax had an injury early to a cut to his leg, resulting in a lot of that set piece, a lot of that breakdown pressure, a lot of that physicality not existing for the New Zealanders for majority of that match as well. So this will be massively huge. By the way, if you have an issue with some of these stats, I know Ethan de Groot is listed as 122 kilograms at allblacks.com. That is the weight he had last year. This is the weight that is in Rugby World Cup website. And if initially it was listed at 132 kilos, which I thought was a mistake, and that was at the beginning of the tournament, and now he's listed 135. So he's grown 3 kilos over the tournament, during the period of the tournament. So if you have an issue with that, ring All Blacks and see if that's the case, because that's the best information I have. I think that's the most updated information, or 135 kilos. And all the stats here are taken from either the Rugby World website, the Springboks are taken from the Springboks website. So yeah, if you think any of this are wrong, you can go ring up World Rugby to fix that up. So yeah, Ethan de Groot. And then the Springboks on the other side, Stephen Kitsoff, Bungin Bunabi, and Franz Maherba. There has been a bit of criticism for Stephen Kitsoff. People think that he's just really, struggling. A lot of people think that Ox Incha needs to be on the field, starting ahead of him. Absolutely, Stephen Kitsoff is the best option to start for the Springboks. It's not just the scrummaging; it's just his experience. He's out there to wear and tear down the opposition. He's not there to make everything look pretty. He's out there to physically wear people down and to pave the way for the bomb squad, for Ox Incha to come off the bench to dominate the scrum in the second half. And you can tell by his experience, he's really, really good, very, very disciplined, under high pressure in the loose head position to not give away penalties. He's very good at that. And a lot of times you can see it. He's under a lot of pressure, but he's very good not let that pressure turn into a penalty, despite the pressure. Bungin Bunabi comes in at a hooker position. He is the go-to hooker now. He struggled a lot in the rain last week. Hopefully they fixed him up this week. Maybe, with some extra training off the field should help with that. Number 3, Franz Maherba, the tight head prop. It's going to be a massive battle between him and Ethan de Groot. And whether or not the scrums, I think how the scrum's going to go is that Stephen Kitsoff and Lomax, it's going to do his best to hold out for Lomax, whilst Maherba is going to do his best to try to squeeze de Groot down, make him go, try to make Ethan de Groot collapse the scrum, try to push him in a position where he kind of like flattens down for the scrum. We'll have to see if either team is going to be able to succeed on that, but I do think that is a strategy for both teams to try to target in the scrummaging. In the locking position now, Brodie Retallick gets caught up on the bench, as we were expecting, and Scotty Barrett, red card Barrett, plenty of practices of early showers, And yes, he will be doing his best to stay on the field. And his team's probably used to him off the field, so he will be just fine. Scotty Barrett. The two guys, especially Scotty, I'm a very big fan of him. I think he is one of the crucial players for the Crusaders that brings in that mongrel in the tie games. He brings in that that desperation. He brings in a lot of leadership when the game gets tight. And I'm really big fan of Scotty Barrett when he does that. And again, the game like this is perfect for Scotty Barrett to show his talents. Talk about mongrel. Talk about playing tie games. Ibn Esbeth and Franco Mostert are probably the two best locks in the world. In right now, Ibn Esbeth at the moment, statistically speaking, is the best performing players in the all of Rugby World Cup, not just in the lock position. The experience, the experience that Ibn Esbeth have, knowing the rules, knowing everything is just the knowledge that he has of the game, and just like the mental sharpness he have in the game as well. The little things that he do for the Springboks to squeeze out a little bit of an advantage is absolutely tremendous. And Franco Mostert, ever since he's been put in lock position, instead of being a blindside flanker, has been showing he's absolutely most suited as a lock. The lineouts, the set piece, the breakdown pressure, everything he does is just spectacular. In the loose forwards now, this is one of the second key area of the game is the breakdown. The breakdown speed, the controlling the breakdown, the discipline and the breakdown. For the All Blacks, we got Franz-Janon Frizzell, who uses as a very big ball runner as well. The physicality that he brings with his carry game has been sorely missed against France in the game against France, and it's good to see that he's healthy for this match. Sam Cane, the open side flanker, the captain, his performance against Ireland was the best one people has ever seen him play. He needs to bring a better game than that this week. With his discipline, with his breakdown speed, and just really working with his teammates to get those turnovers, get the early footing at the breakdown, get his hands on the ball. Finally, Adi Savia. This might be his last match with the All Blacks. He will be playing overseas, and he's talked in the past that he wants to play for Samoa at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just go overseas for 4 years and play for Samoa in 4 years' time. So this very well be the last game for Adi Savia, alongside a lot of other players who are retiring, like Sam Whitelock and stuff. But it's really sad to see him go. I really like this guy. One of the most physical guys in the All Blacks team. And again, his carry game, his mongrel physicality that he always brings to the team, the intensity that he brings will be massively important for the All Blacks. For the South Africans, Siya Kolisi, the captain, will come in an open side. Again, nowadays, they don't give him, usually in the past, they used to give him about 60 minutes. Nowadays, he only gets about 45 minutes. So he's going to just be going out there hard for 45 minutes, and he's going to be off the field. And again, his leadership, he's just physical. He just always do the hard work, always do the high yards, making his tackles, everything you want from an open side flanker. Pieter-Sepp du Toit plays a little bit tighter than Siya Kolisi. He stays around the rocks. He's just being an absolute pest of the breakdowns. And finally, Dwayne the Rock Vermeulen will be finishing off number 8 position, bringing that experience for the Springboks, bringing that, that very, very important physical dominance, size dominance around the players in key areas as well, just to occupy space. That's what he's out there to do. And in the back line now, we've got yes, this is the same setup for the All Blacks, and a little bit change in the starting 2 position, in the 9 and 10 position for the Springboks. So Aaron Smith once again retains the number 9 jersey. He will be expecting to be playing the full 18 minutes. Richie Mo'unga comes in at number 10. There's been some little bit of a news that he might be hurt, but we'll just see how he goes. The All Blacks camp has said that he's fine, but there were some rumors circulating. For the Springboks, Faf de Klerk comes in at number 9. He'll be playing the full 80 minutes as well, knowing that Billy LaRue will be on the bench. He has done that against the All Blacks in that warm-up match. He played the full 80 minutes, no problem. And he'll be able to do that again. His kicking game, sometimes we criticize him for being poor, but I think his kicking game mostly has been very, very good. The box kicks has improved dramatically. The accuracy, the distance, he gets the distance out there when he needs to. And, his box kick goes for 50 meters. If he wants, he can punt that down the field quite far. And he's been very, very good. His kicking game has improved a lot. We'll see. We'll see how he handles this game. And I'm very, very happy to see Faf at number 9. At number 10, we saw everything what he can do last week. 100 Pollard, the calm, the experience, the game management, everything he brought onto the field to turn the game around for the Springboks to win that game against England and kicking that final goal, cool as a cucumber, is exactly what you need to win big test matches in the Rugby Wildkard final. He's done it before in 2019. He's going to look at doing it again this weekend. Coming up at number 11 shirts, Mark Talea for the All Blacks. His performance was very good against Argentina. He did miss out against Ireland, so yeah, he will be once again. This will be a very difficult match for him. This will be the biggest match for him for his entire career. We shall see how he goes. Only a test cap for this guy. He's up against Cheslin Kobe, probably the most dangerous winger in the world right now, under the high ball, open field play. In the rain, in the wet, I think both players will be looking for those scrappy balls and try to find an opportunity for themselves. The center battles is the third key area of the field that is heavily contested, and it's all going to be once again about physicality and about ball handling. The All Blacks has the advantage here in the ball handling with Jordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. Riko's ability to perform in the rain is absolutely second to none. I think he plays better in the rain than when there's no rain, just because everybody else slows down a little bit in the rain. He doesn't slow down at all in the rain. It does not affect him, and as a result, he's actually the difference between him and his opposition is actually much greater when the condition is wet, and he will be the most dangerous person on the field for the All Blacks. Yeah, Rieko Ioane in the rain, unbelievable. His performance against Argentina in the rain last year, I thought I haven't seen one that good since like Conrad Smith, maybe like 2015 or something. It was unbelievable how good he was, and once again he will be doing that this week. For the Springboks, they do have the advantage in defense. Damien de Allende and Jesse Kriel, superhuman performance by Jesse Kriel in that French game, and again his defense will be absolutely on point this week against Rieko Ioane. Otherwise, the Springboks will get carved up in that 13 channel this weekend. Number 14 now, Will Jordan for the All Blacks and Curdy Adams, number 14 for the Springboks. Both players exceptionally good with loose ball, under the high ball, and with just little individual kicking game as well. And we shall see who comes out on top. This will be a massive battle again for in those key areas, in those loose ball situations for both teams. And finally, in the fullback position, I think this probably will be if the All Blacks wants to win the game, this will be where it's gonna be absolutely spot on for the All Blacks. It's Beauden Barrett's kicking game. He's been criticized a lot for just lackluster kicking, high ball that's just uncontestable, and then long balls that's kicked a bit too far. So that needs to be out of his system. I don't know how they're gonna manage it in the rain. Whether they're gonna opt for a more running style in the rain, we'll have to see. But this how Beauden plays this game will be absolutely critical to the All Blacks in this game, especially knowing that the bench is going to be lacking a little bit for the All Blacks. The Beauden Barrett kicking the ball away, kicking opportunities away, it's definitely going to be important for the team not to kick those opportunities away. Damien Willems, the most important player in the Springboks team, to allow the Springboks to play the 7-1 bench. Damien Willems covers every position in the back line. So this is why that Willie LaRue is on the bench, because they need Willie LaRue to cover the case that Damien Willems gets injured. And he is so important for the Springboks. That's why I call him the greatest Springbok in history of the Springboks. Without Damien Willems, forget about a 7-1 bench. The Springboks will be very risky to even run the 6-2 bench without Damien Willems. So yeah, he is just that important, and that's why I think he's one of the greatest Springboks ever, if not the greatest Springboks ever. Especially if they win second championship, right? Second World Cup. And finally, in the back line, this will be the difference that the Springboks will be looking at. Somasoni Taukeiaho for the All Blacks at the hooker, Tamati Williams in the looser position, and Nipol Laulala in the opens in the tight head prop position. For this Springboks, Theon Fourie will probably come on as a hooker. As a loose forward, and then move to hooker position late in the game. Ox Entra, the dominator, these scrummaging specialists will come onto the bench to try to squeeze out a penalty early before the reserves come on to try to, stop his dominance. But yeah, he won the game against England hands down with his scrummaging prowess. It was absolutely brutal. And finally, the return of Trevor Nyakani. He's missed out the 2 previous games, had a bit of a break there as well, and he will be absolutely instrumental for this game. A lot of fresh legs off the bench for the Springboks as well. Trevor Nyakani hasn't played at all. John Clay hasn't played at all for like 3 or 4 weeks now. 3 weeks now at least for these 2 players. Not Huaga Smith, and Jasper Wiese also hasn't played for 3 weeks. So all these players will be very fresh off the bench, and it's going to be absolutely brutal. Samuel Wildkard comes in number 19 for the All Blacks. Dalton Papali'i, number 20. John Clay, number 19. Achi Sneeman coming in number 20 for the Springboks. Again, his performance off the bench last week was absolutely huge to score that try over England. Finlay Christie, number 21. I say injury covered Aaron Smith. Very unlikely that it's going to get onto the field unless Aaron Smith gets injured. Huaga Smith, number 21. Again, just impact play off the bench. High impact, high pressure. 7th player, 7-star rugby to finish off the game. Number 22, Damien McKenzie for the All Blacks. As good as he is, he's probably not going to play unless somebody gets injured. If the All Blacks are going to play the same route they did against Ireland. And Jasper Wiese will be off the bench under the high ball in the wet conditions. He's going to be absolutely tremendous. Huge impact for the Springboks. And finally, Antoine Lennon-Brown will be coming on at some point in the center positions. And Willie LaRue will be the injury cover for Demi Valimsa, who will cover everybody else's injury position for the Springboks. So yeah, this will be an absolutely brutal game. The game plan for the Springboks is absolutely brilliant. And I think this game, if the All Blacks wants to win this one, they need to have a very, very good lead, like 8 points or more at halftime to have a chance. Because in the second half, the All Blacks is going to be hoping to hold on to the game. The longer the game goes, the better it is for the Springboks, and the All Blacks will have to try to hold on to the advantage. If the game is close at halftime, the Springboks should be able to finish the game with a bomb squad off the bench with a 7-1 bench. The rain, everything's going to be played very tight, and I think the All Blacks, would really try to get Riku Ioane as much space as possible early in the game to try to get as much points as possible and try to hold on. And if this game goes into extra time, I think that the Springboks, again, will probably be pretty close. We'll still be able to squeeze that out with the forwards advantage in the extra time. But if the game somehow goes into a penalty shootout, as we've talked about it in this channel, the All Blacks will have the advantage there. So the All Blacks will win the game early and will win the penalty shootout. And that's their 2-way of winning this game. Anything that happens in between, I think the Springboks will win. And that's going to be difficult. I've already made my decision in my World Cup prediction before the World Cup even started. I called that the Springboks going to win the World Cup. So I'm going to stick to that. But we're going to play a little game for you. You pick. I've got a Hong Kong $2 coin here. So you can pick a side, right? If you're a Springbok fan, you pick a side. If you're All Black fan, you pick a side. If the coin lands on the side that you picked, then your team is going to win, okay? So the Hong Kong dollar don't have the queen on it. So you've got a flower on one end, the Hong Kong flower, and it's got the 2 Hong Kong dollar number on the back. So you can call it a flower or number, all right? And then if you pick the right one, your team's going to win. Did you pick the flower? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks to people who support me financially. I do appreciate it. And hopefully your team wins. And I will be doing commentary for this game, so feel free to tune in for some commentary. It will be commentary. It's not going to be reactions. So yeah, it's just going to be proper commentary for this one from me. And hopefully you tune in. And thanks for watching. Thanks to guys who donate money, support me financially. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the bronze final, and I'll see you guys for this one, the big one, on Saturday, Sunday morning, Saturday evening, wherever you call it. Have a good one, guys. See you later. Cheers.